Get to the alcohol. Get to the chopper.
It's
Now.
2 men. Welcome.
2 men.
We're gonna rub lotion on each other for half hour because that's all we can do tonight.
We got someone else here virtually. So
we can rub lotion on him. Sweet.
Yeah.
And
he's gonna be like he's gonna be the target of her affection in the middle. Bukakli style.
All
right,
Bukakli. There we go. I gotta change his name.
Yeah. All right. So we're here the last week of dry January, where me and Greg are kind of doing this together because Lee mailed in his virtual presents earlier today, and no one else.
Will Carrie not be joining us?
Of course not. It's for non-alcoholic beers, and he hates those more than he likes the show. So
wow.
Yeah, we're doing non-alcoholic beers. This is a spoiler for what I've got, but let's get down to who we have with us, which is just Greg. Tonight.
Oh shit! I have to pay attention to the whole show because there isn't background noise. Shit. Nick, how are you this evening?
I imagine eventually we'll just have some awkward comments from Brandon in the chat, maybe if he stays awake long enough.
I hope so. I hope Brandon just gets annihilated tonight and calls in sick tomorrow.
Yeah, considering
he calls in and says Nick will handle all my tickets because he's a good friend.
Yeah, it'll be a server down tonight and it'll be like troubleshooting it drunk.
Hey, you don't have to be that sober to power it back on and off.
Anyway, all right. So, what do you have with you there tonight, there, Greggy?
Well, I actually decided I bought a few different non-alcoholic beers a few weeks ago. The Veer we've already done, the Sam Adams 0%, not Sam Adams, spoilers. I got a Sam Adams beer, but we got the Guinness, which is amazing. That's the one to beat. Spoilers, neither of these are going to beat that. But I thought I'd finish off with the last two I got. So I do have a Samuel Adams Just the Haze IPA, 0.5% alcohol. And then another beer from a brewery I've never really heard of, but it's called, I think it's called Bock/Ale, even though it's an IPA. So I'm not entirely sure what the naming on that is, but I'm not even sure what is the name of the brewery it comes from. It is a Quebec brewery. They give you it's called Galaxy, Citra, Mosaic, Ukunut, and Eldorado. I probably butchered that pronunciation. And that's Camden, Brockville, Drummondville, Quebec. Bock Ale appears to actually be the name of the brewery. So, or at least the name they're packaging this under. So
how old's that can there, Greg?
It is yes. Yes, I remember this one. I'm good. This will be a fun rant because I picked this up at the beer store.
Yeah.
Packaged on the 12th of October, 2023. 2023, Nick.
23? Gross. What the fuck? And you want to know something else, Greg? Because I swear I'd heard of that brewery before, so I Googled them. They went out of business in September of 2024. So that brewery doesn't even exist anymore. This is actually quite an old product. I mean, well, wow.
Anyway, so there we go. We're gonna have these. These are basically like the leftovers competing. So we'll see which is better.
All right. Let's switch over to our virtual presence machine. Oh, I'm gonna switch me over.
And of course, no. Sam Adams doesn't have a canning date, but they just say it's best by April 2025. Oh my God, Lee is here.
Yeah, it's kind of funny when you look at the panel and StreamYard. It looks like he's in the chat.
I mean, he's as active as he normally is. He's there silently judging us.
Exactly. All right. Let me know if you can hear this.
No, I can't hear it.
Hi, Lee.
I can't hear him at all. I don't know if YouTube can.
Okay, hold on a second. Let me reshare that because tab audio is shared. Window audio. You know what? I'm just going to do it this way. Your tab audio. Hopefully this works. There we go. Let's try this. Good.
Hello, Nicholas.
Yep.
Perfect. How are you tonight?
Hi, Lee.
Hello, Gregory. How are you?
Hi, Lee. I'm well. Thank you for asking.
There's probably nobody else. So anyway,
you're right.
Not even
Yeah,
Brandon.
I'm here, kind of. And the non-alcoholic beer I brought for this week is Nomad Pilsner from Tatamagouche.
Good old Tatamagouche.
It says on the thing, it's a time to wander, to break away from the pack and embrace adventure. Time to choose your own path and run wild. Nomad goes anywhere you go and with everything you do. Free of alcohol, free of limits. Real craft beer, brewed with premium ingredients, full flavor, and zero alcohol. You found your beer. Excuse me. You found your beer. Now get out there and find your freedom. Probably freedom from having fun.
Or flavor.
37 calories. But anyway, I'll open this and then we'll get to the history and stuff, I assume, here in a moment, right? All right.
Right. I'm going to pause that for now because we're going to circle back. Let me introduce what my beer is for tonight, Highly. So let's talk about, well, I've been wanting to try this for a while. I haven't had it yet. It's yet another Collective Arts beer to take a look at in the channel, but amazingly enough, this is like, we've had this for a while and it's super cheap. It's like $2.99 a can, but I've never tried it. So this is Collective Arts Hazy Pale Ale, non-alcoholic. Collective Arts is actually one of our most reviewed breweries on this channel, and they make especially a lot of great IPAs. This can was canned on, well, it says the best before date of June 13th, 2025. So I mean, if it's a 1 year best before date, then it's at least 7 months old. So I guess that's probably the freshest beer here tonight. Well, maybe Lee's is, but it's not so fresh anymore considering he's probably pissed it out by now. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what best before April 2025. I have no clue when they actually canned that. So
it's probably a year. Okay.
Probably,
so
I'm assuming.
Let's get down to our histories here. I'll put you back up there, Greg, and then we'll read Brandon's comments.
All right. Well, I poured these. I've had both of them before. So this is the Sam Adams. There's history being made a second time. And here's the Bach Ale. What's history being made a second time?
So you don't have it written down when you had them.
I don't have it written down, but I can tell you it was about 3 weeks ago when I bought them. So I had a can of each. So that was actually, no, I lied to you. I actually have had 2 cans of the Sam Adams, but I've only had 1 can of this. So there you go. That's your history.
Nice cans, Greg.
Thank you.
All right,
I work on them myself.
Back over to our favorite Lee Russell and get his history. If YouTube will actually play his fucking video. Oh, for fuck's sake, YouTube.
Oh, come on.
I'll assume here in a moment,
There
right?
There we go. Stupid piece of shit.
All right, I'm going to open this up. My history with this, Nicholas, is that I bought it on a recent beer purchase from Tatamagouche because I knew we were doing non-alcoholic, dry January or whatever, and I needed a beer for the show, much like last week. And so, yeah, this is the other one that I bought. And that's it. All right, looking at it here, looks pretty good. Looks like a beer.
Kind of a little bit like this one.
We'll get right into it here, though. So, yeah, it actually smells like a beer. Not bad. It doesn't have like Vitamalt fucking smell or anything like that. It doesn't quite smell like super wet cardboardy or anything like that. It's got a little bit of a graininess to it. I dare say there's like some sort of hop presence going on there. Nothing super strong, mind you, but yeah,
watching High
kind of
Tide
smells like a lager.
It is the best Maritimes beer show.
So, but like a standard macro lager, pretty much somewhere within that range. So we'll go to the taste. Cheers.
We'll let him. We'll talk.
I do admit I do miss Hughley beer reviews, especially when he dressed up like the albino rhino.
right? Oh yeah, he wore white face. Had his
That
face
was a
covered in
classic.
cotton balls. That was
It
hilarious.
was.
All right, let's put me up in front and I can talk about my history. I already gave it away anyway. So $2.99 a can for this. I picked
Yep.
the freshest can I could find in the Envy liquor store close to me. This has been there for a while. I mean, I kind of avoided buying non-alcoholic beers at the fucking liquor store because I don't feel like I should be paying them the markup. But I figured for $2.99, I'll buy a can from them. So yeah, of course, I mean, I go way back, like over 10 years with this brewery. So first time I've ever tried one of their non-alcoholic beers.
I'm actually surprised you haven't tried that one before.
Yeah, no. This is actually one, like, of the non-alcoholic beers, this is actually one I've been wanting to try because it's collective arts. I've been kind of curious, like, exactly how well they do it. I think when we did Dry January the first time, like years ago, or Dry February.
Back when it was called Dry
Back when it
February.
was Dry February, and it was a month later, when Carrie actually liked non-alcoholic IPAs.
Well, let's not go that far.
He bought a bunch of these, so like it was like had a little the whole lineup of different ones, and this is kind of the one that they settled on.
Yeah, I've tried a few of them because I think when I was doing the Dry February, I ordered a bunch from them. They have a few different flavors. Plus, they have some other line of non-alcoholic products. I tried a bunch of stuff from them. I remember generally being positive about it, except the one part I wasn't positive about is they were quite expensive compared to other non-alcoholic beers you could get. Although $2.99 doesn't sound too crazy, like especially for your market.
Yeah, at the time though, it was kind of a novelty to have a craft brewed non-alcoholic beer. So
this is true.
Now it's fairly common actually nowadays. I mean, look at Lee's beer he's got. Fucking windows turning my plane down. All right, so let's move on to the comments we got here, which is Brandon.
Yay, Brandon's here.
Yay. Well, hello everyone. I wasn't feeling good today at all since I woke up and it was debating not going in. I'm like, thank God he did because it was crazy this morning. I came around and now I've been drinking whiskey.
There we go. There we go. See, whiskey.
Make sure to answer the alerts on the on-call phone. Sam Adams looks promising, so he's just complimenting your beer.
Well, we shall see soon, won't we?
Mm-hmm. Well, you know, it's crazy with can dates. My best friend Tommy, who I'm going to visit in Halifax this weekend, he said when he checks the date in the NS warehouse, he's surprised on the dates. I take it he works for the NSLC or something. But yeah, I feel like LCBO does it, ANBL does it. They keep shit in the warehouse and they almost treat like beer as a non-perishable product. It's fucking annoying because
that being said, the LCBO generally speaking will make some effort to clear out products that are too old. At least when it comes to beer. I mean, I'm not saying they're always successful, but at least they attempt to, or the sales rep should be attempting to. I mean, the fact that, well, we don't know when this was canned, but the fact that this is like almost a year and a, are we like a year and a half in this?
Over a year, over a year and a half now, I think.
Something like that, yeah.
You say it was October, a year and a quarter.
Yeah, okay, so a year and a quarter, over a year. We can safely say it's over a year. And we're still in the beginning of this fucking year, and we got another 3.5 something, 3 years, 11 months of. Anyways, we won't talk politics. We got and the fact that you're telling me they don't even make this anymore, it's kind of like okay, but like beer store. And to be fair, this was from the LCBO. The only reason I wasn't even planning to buy more non-alcoholic beer, and I thought, I didn't know Sam Adams made non-alcoholic, so I thought I'd buy it. This one I picked up at the beer store. And I'm just like, well, maybe the beer store just don't care about since they're privately owned. Maybe they're just like, yeah, keep it on the shelf. Some idiot will buy it eventually. This guy.
Some idiot named Greg.
Yeah.
All right. So on a lot of cans, they're told to ship out or sat in the main warehouse for so long. I don't know. I find like, especially like Ontario beers, when we get them in New Brunswick, they're at least like 3 months old when they get here. Like Collective Arts beers, as much as I love them, they're usually 3 months old by the time I get them. What's the deal with Leah? He couldn't attend pre-recorded this session. Yeah, I think Lee had to work tonight. So he probably knowing the fact that it would just be me and Greg and Lee late because we're doing Dry January and Carrie doesn't seem to enjoy
Carrie doesn't show up. Lady Lee's often busy on Wednesdays and everyone else doesn't give a fuck about poor Nick.
Yeah, Ashley Sexton and Jamie don't love us anymore and all that. All right, so Brandon says lol. Nice of them to do that though. Yeah, it is. I do appreciate it if you're not going to show up tonight. At least you mail it in. It's literally mailing it in, but I mean,
which I actually
enough.
find kind of funny because behind the scenes we know that Lee is not the biggest fan of mail-in reviews, but it was nice of him to do it because he's like, oh, I don't want to disappoint Nick. So
I want to say that's the first time I've ever seen him do that.
Yeah.
But,
well, no, and I do agree with him. I mean, having people in person is better, but if you bought the beer anyway, then hey, throw in your review, and that would be that.
He said, yeah, he's surprised at how many candidates are a few months to a year he's been finding sitting around. Yeah, well, that sounds like
that doesn't surprise
me. SLC.
Yeah,
a lot
of the shit, the LCBO, the worst beers at the LCBO, unless you're a big, like, if you're like GLB or something or Amsterdam, yeah, your shit's on the shelf right away. But if you're like a new brewery putting out a new product, it's not uncommon for it to sit in the warehouse for months before it actually gets put on the shelf. And then people try this new brewery. Hey, this new downtown brewery seems promising. Oh, why does their IPA taste like ass? Oh, because it's been sitting in a warehouse.
Yeah, and that's hurting the new breweries in the process. It's fucking
because they may have a good product. And the thing is, probably future product from them, assuming they maintain a presence in the LCBO, will go out faster because once they have a presence that they tend to restock faster. But by that point, is the damage already done? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, if I got like 4 or 5 month old IPA from one company and it's not as good as if I'm in the Ontario, if I'm drinking something like GLB or Collective Arts, which is probably super fresh, and then all of a sudden you drink this piece of shit and you're like, oh fuck, I don't want to drink anything from them again. And then that brewery ends up having a non-alcoholic IPA sit on the shelf for a year and a quarter, and then goes out of business.
Maybe because they're just too old.
Yep. Alrighty. I guess it's probably leaning towards a fairly short episode tonight. Do you want
thoughts, Nick?
Unless we want to read more of Brandon's comments or shoot the shit about something.
Finish up. Oh no, I'm good to go. Finish up Brandon's comments, and then I'm good to go.
Oh, that is Brandon's. Brandon said we got to finish early, unless he's got something else to say.
Well, he can say it while I'm talking. So, well, first I'm going to give my customary complaints about non-alcoholic beer. Admittedly, much as our good friend Kerry would say if he was still alive, he doesn't like non-alcoholic beer, and I agree with him. Most of it is not that great. Neither one of these is a great example of it. You do come up with some gems like Guinness 0%, which is just a fantastic beer. If you want to quit alcohol and you like Guinness, that's the one to do it with. The one thing I will complain, and unfortunately Guinness 0% does fall under this category, everything's too expensive. You look at the price of these, I don't remember off the top of my head, it was $12-13 for the 6-pack of these small cans. You can basically get a 6-pack of small cans of Coors Light for that much money. At least then you get alcohol, and the government's taxing alcohol, so it kind of makes a little more sense to charge that price. There's no tax on this, yet they're still charging the same price for generally an inferior product. So I can understand why it's hard for people to want to drink non-alcoholic beer, especially if you're in a position where you have to quit, your health reasons or you just moral reasons, whatever. I can understand why people would get annoyed because really charging more than $1 for this is kind of ridiculous, quite frankly. But I would pay it for Guinness 0%. By the way, you can get it a little cheaper for a 12-pack at Costco, $25 for a 12-pack. Still expensive for what it is, but I would pay that because it's so good. This I would not buy again, nor would I buy this again.
But you can't buy that one again.
There's still more of them, Nick. I didn't buy the last one. So, I think there's probably at least another case of it there.
We'll have to ship it to Brandon's buddy's LCBO or NSLC.
Oh, there we go. Well, they'll just resell it for a higher price.
Use a sharp and change the date,
and it'll still be there next year, and you can buy it.
Gross.
Anyways, so that rant over, because again, non-alcoholic beer should not be that expensive. Again, shout out to Compliments Blonde. That's Lee's brand of beer. To me, is it the best non-alcoholic beer? No, but it's pretty good and it's properly priced. The last I checked, I think it's $7.99 a 12-pack. I think it goes on sale for $6.99 sometimes, maybe even $5.99. So I mean, you know, when you're paying less than $1 for a beer, like that's basically you're paying pop prices, which is totally acceptable. More than $1 a beer, like these are like $2 each. No, thank you, good sir. Anyways, now that little rant's over and I'm done hearing my own voice, actually, you're gonna hear it some more. Oh my gosh. Okay, hold on. So that's the Sam Adams. Kinda. Well, so visually it may not come out. This one looks more like grapefruit juice. So this is the Bach. This is Sam Adams. This Sam Adams looks like a proper hazy IPA. Like visually, the Sam Adams is far superior. Unfortunately, that is the last time you're going to hear me say anything positive about the Sam Adams, because it is one of the sweetest fucking beers I have ever tasted in my life. It is. Gross. Well, let's have a look at the can, shall we? And just for reference, let's just say a standard off-the-shelf beer. Let's say a Coors Light, because my wife has some cans of it. I happen to know it's something like about 100 calories a can, plus something in the range. I believe it's like 6 grams of carbs or something like that. Or maybe it's a little more carbs. I can't remember. But that's for an alcoholic beer. Admittedly, a light alcoholic beer that has a lot of junk in it as well. But that's what it is. So this Buck, 20 calories. 5 grams of carbs. Okay.
Not terrible.
That's fine. Sam Adams, 100 calories.
Jesus.
22 grams of carbs, of which those 12 grams of carbs is sugar. So,
yum.
The rest of these beers, when I drink them, I'm going to drink them before I work out to give me a little bit of carbs for energy. Because otherwise, like this has the carbs of like a full-on IPA. Yet somehow, like they've taken the alcohol out of
soda.
Which I mean, granted, I guess there's not really carbs in alcohol, but well, yeah, I mean, it's what's a can of Coke? Like I think Coke's like 40
Coke's
grams
like
of carbs
24 or something. Yeah, I mean, I think it's really high like that. I don't know.
So I mean, yeah, so this is like stupidly sweet, and I will definitely be like the rest of these beers are gonna. Oh, there you go.
Like 500 ml bottle. 55 grams of sugar in that shit. I mean, I like Coke and all, but I don't drink it as often as I used to.
No, Coke's delicious to have a little while, once in a while, but yeah, no, it's a treat. Generally speaking, when I was a teenager, I used to drink like 2 of them a day.
Oh God,
that was terrible. But anyways, yeah, so this is just sickly sweet. I will chug this just to have as a pre-workout beer, just because it would give me some good amount of calories and carbs to give me some energy. But otherwise, I would not want to drink this. Now, again, not knowing how old this is, would this perhaps have been better if it was fresh? Maybe. But I'm Sam Adams. I'm reviewing the beer that you've allowed to be on the shelf one way or another. So that's how I'm reviewing it, regardless how old it is. Now, I always find there's different categories of non-alcoholic beers. There's the ones that are like try to mimic full-on beers, and the ones to me that are sort of like fancier hop water. Now, Partake. I think Lee had one of them not last week, 2 weeks ago. I've tried a bunch of their beers. All their beers are in the same range. They're like 10 or 20 calories, so very light in calories if you're on a diet or something. And they taste to me like glorified hop water, where you get a bit of that beer taste, but they're very watery. I actually don't mind them. It's just you have to sort of calibrate your brain to be like, this is not going to remind me of a beer. Well, it'll remind me of a beer, but I'm not going to feel like I'm drinking a beer, alcoholic or non-alcoholic. Whereas there are some non-alcoholic beers, like, like to be honest, I mean, as sweet as this is, I've tasted regular hazies that are just as sickly sweet. So, if you added some vodka or something to this, you could probably trick somebody into thinking it's a hazy IPA. Not a good one, but you could probably trick somebody into thinking it is a true hazy. But getting to the Bach. So what I'll say about this is the one I prefer between these two beers, despite the potential age difference. Yikes. And this one does come off similar. It reminds me of Partake products, where it's sort of feels like a glorified hop water, where you get the flavors, you get the bitterness, like you get like a very Like this one's very grapefruity, which makes sense because it looks like grapefruit juice. You get the grapefruit flavor, it's a little bit bitter, but it's just watery as fuck. And I don't mind that actually. Like, you know, to me, I like hop water. This is like hop water plus. It's got a few calories. Hop water has 0. This has a few calories, a few carbs, but it's still pretty diet friendly. You know, you could drink a 6-pack of this and you'd basically be equivalent to like one of these or a little more than one of these. So, you know, this would definitely make for a better session beer. So different ways of approaching non-alcoholic beer. And again, I don't know how this would have been fresh. I mean, it's kind of exciting that this has 5 different hops in it. I don't taste 5 different hops. I taste whichever one gives it the grapefruitiness. So as style, so now I got to rate them style wise. I can't even remember what I gave the Veer to compare it to. The Veer is definitely better than both of these. Obviously, the Guinness Zero is far superior to both of these. I would say as a style wise for non-alcoholic beer, I always have to rate them differently on style, but I'm not going
Gave
to.
the Veer a 7.
I gave it a 7 on both.
Yeah, 7 and 7.
Yeah, so that sounds about right. So I will give this one a 6. I actually enjoy it, despite its age. I actually think it's not bad. I'm just gonna go 6 and 6 on both of them. It's again, I'm assuming I'm in the mood for a non-alcoholic beer. This one is fine. I don't have anything against it. Would I probably go out and buy it again? Not at the price it is. If it was priced like it should be priced, like what a Compliments Blonde costs, yeah, I would actually buy this on a fairly regular basis. It's my problem with Partake too, is it's expensive for what it is. I like their product, but it's expensive. This, on the other hand, is a solid 4. It's not in the realm of gross. Usually 3 and under for me is gross, but it's not passable for me. It's drinkable if I had to, but if I never had to drink this again, I'd be okay with that. So yeah, it's going to be a 4 and 4 on both of them. They're like, yeah, this one's a fail and this one's a moderate pass.
It was 4 and 4 for the Sam Adams.
Yeah, just to make it easy, 4 and 4 for both of them, and 6 and 6 for the other one.
All right,
we're gonna make the math easy.
All right, thank you, Greg. So let's turn it back over to our virtually, so that we can see what he's thinking about his beer. And he's got like a 5-minute spiel here.
Well, we're gonna hear it then.
Yeah. Hopefully we hear it. Let me know if there's any audio issues.
I heard him sigh.
Oh, you know it's Lee then. He's there.
So if you remember last week we did, I brought the Nomad IPA and I didn't think too highly of that. This isn't bad. This tastes like basically a macro lager of some sort, somewhere within the range of like a Coors or maybe a Molson or something along those lines. You know, pretty watered down, but it's got, you know, flavors that are equivalent to basically a macro lager. It doesn't have like any sort of suspect off flavors that sometimes pop up in non-alcoholic beers. There's a little bit of a hop presence in the background. It's not super big. Here's the thing. I'm a little jaded now with this stuff. I'm a little spoiled, having, you know, taken more of a turn towards enjoying Pilsners over the last few years. I'm just used to well-made ones, like seeking out and finding well-made ones and drinking them. And, you know, when I run into something that calls itself a Pilsner,
like Steam Whistle,
in the back of my head, I expect something that's like the equivalent to an actual, like, authentic, like Czech Pilsner or something along those lines. This doesn't do any of that. But as far as like just being something that's pretty much the same as most like macro lagers that are on the shelf right now, this is a perfectly great non-alcoholic substitute for those. It pretty much tastes just like those. Maybe a little less carbonation going on. Maybe just like a little bit lesser in flavor, like maybe just reduced down a notch or two. But overall, pretty much on point. Very drinkable, very light, goes down smooth. And like I said, no off flavors. That's the big thing with these, right? It's like you don't want anything that's like a super off flavor on these. So as a non-alcoholic beer, I'm not judging this by Pilsner style. I'm just judging it by non-alcoholic beer style. And to be quite honest, I'd have to go like 4 or 5. It's pretty goddamn good. So that 4 or 5. So 9 out of 10.
That sounds impressive.
Yeah, I'd say 9 out of 10 for style. It does the thing it's supposed to do. My own personal preference, I could drink this. I'm never gonna like buy it again, probably. But like if someone handed this to me, I would be perfectly fine with drinking it. I'd say about 6.5. If I guess the best way to actually answer that question. Now I'm thinking about it, and we didn't really should have brought this up before we even started dry January or whatever. Probably the best way to look at that question, like, would you drink it again, is like, if you had to, like, if you had like a medical condition where you could no longer drink regular beers, safely, and you still wanted something equivalent to beer, just, without the alcohol. This would be somewhere like a 6 or a 7 for me, I guess. Let's just say 7. Yeah, because it's perfectly fine. It's nothing super amazing, but it's enough like beer that it could trick me into thinking I'm drinking beer. So there you go. The Nomad Pilsner. 9 for style, 7 for personal preference.
All right.
And that's that. Have a good night, guys. And hopefully see you next time. Maybe, I don't know. Depends on what beer gets picked. Bye.
Goodbye, Mr. Lee.
Bye, Mr. Lee. Mr. Lee. Alrighty. It was Lee for you. So let's put me up here and I can talk briefly about this. All right. Collective Arts Hazy Pale Ale. I think it does. It's kind of like what Lee's saying with that Pilsner. This thing does exactly what you want. It's a hazy pale ale. I mean, it's got a nice medium body to it. So you got the pale ale body. I feel like it's very light and sudsy. Like you're as you were saying, Lee, Greg, you were saying something about some of the non-alcoholic beers kind of skew towards hop water. This one I feel like kind of tastes like hop water a little, although there is like that little bit of like a little hint of cardboard, hint of Vitamalt backbone to it, which isn't so great. But I mean, the hops in this thing, they're the kind of ones that you want out of a pale ale anyway. It's kind of like that, like somewhat grapefruit juicy, hints of passion fruit and guava and shit like that. And, I mean, it's perfectly serviceable. I feel like I got what I asked for $2 for $2.99 a can. I think it's actually pretty freaking good. And I would say that this is way better than any of the athletic IPAs that I've ever drank. Like when it comes to
beers. I wasn't a huge fan of that brewery.
No. Like I think I threw out most of it. I feel like this stuff actually stacks up really well to like the Libra stuff. I would drink this over a Libra, but one of the things you pointed out when you're talking about the Sam Adams was the amount of sugars in it. So this one here comes in at 90 calories. I don't know if you can read that. And 7 grams of sugar. So it is kind of a lot of sugar.
Still a good amount of carbs, but yeah, I mean, it's not like I don't think like probably none of these would be great if you're, if the cutting
Well,
calories or something is
that's just it.
is your goal. But
if your goal is to cut calories, this isn't going to work. I mean, there's actual real beers that are lower calories than this, like Sleeman Clear is like 80 or 70 calories a can for 3 or 4% beer. So if you're cutting back the carbs, there's better beers and it'll actually get you drunk. This stuff, I mean, as far as like non-alcoholic beers, like Lee was saying, if you got a condition like fatty liver or something where the doctor's telling you not to drink alcohol, then yeah, not bad at all. I'm going to give it a 7.5 for the style and a 7 for overall enjoyment. I'd drink this again, but I'm not planning to continue to do like Dan is going to do with going into dry February. I'm ending my
Dan
dry
is doing
run.
it for he's doing it for 14 months. Fuck.
Yeah, that should be interesting.
I mean,
anyway.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I almost feel if you're doing it for
Dan sometime. But
I almost feel if you're doing it for 14 months, you may as well just quit permanently and just be a healthy boy.
Yeah. I don't know. I couldn't quit beer that long. I just can't quit you. I can't quit Greg either.
Well, you don't want to. I mean, you don't want to be too healthy because it's like, I don't know. Do you want to live to 105 and be like, I've just been eating lettuce and water the last 90 years?
There's got to be a threshold in where, and I suppose it's different for every person. That of course, you need to cut back from alcohol. You can't be drinking it like every day, 24/7, and getting drunk every night, because that eventually does cause scarring and fatty liver and shit like that. But at the same time, like me personally, I'll drink on a couple of beers on Wednesdays, and I might go whole hog on Saturdays. Granted, that does take some time to recover every week, but it can't be as bad as some people are. Some people I've seen like buy a 2-4 and drink it the entire weekend.
Yeah, that can be a bit much. I mean, I even think like even if you are somebody who drinks every day, I mean, I think drinking 1 or 2 beers a day probably is not going to be that harmful to you. It's probably better than not drinking at all for 6 days, and then 7th day you drink a 12-pack.
1 or 2 beers a day is like European levels, like European beer is not as a taboo subject as it is here. It's like fucking pop over there.
It's probably fine. And just remember, I mean, even if it does take years off your life, it's like those years at the end kind of suck anyway.
Suck.
Like that, they're just taking away the years that you're going to be shitting yourself in adult diapers. Although admittedly the hot nurses might be wiping your butthole for you. So pros and cons.
All right. So let's go for where do we leave off with Brandon?
I wonder if Lee will tell us which one of our beers he wants to try the most.
Nice to do that, though. Tommy says he's so many old dates. Says he's surprised how many candidates are a few months to a year. He's been finding. Yeah, we read that one. I can keep going, Wall. I'm not a fan of trying non-alcoholic beers, or I'd be contributing. I hopefully get on next week and see what beers I try in Halifax this weekend. I'm sure that what I'm choosing for next week's beer is going to be something you can find, so stay tuned. Probably talk to your workout about it anyway. Now, all I knew since I was younger was non-alcoholic beer was Budweiser, because a family friend who was older, he quit for a few years and only drank non-alcoholic blood. Now he's back on the real beers. Haha. Yeah, I remember when Budweiser came out with that Budweiser, was it Prohibition beer or something like in the black can?
Something like that. Yeah, I don't remember. Yeah. I don't even remember which one it was, but I remember my buddy, as a joke, it got me a whole like a whole freaking, I think it was a 2-4 of some non-alcoholic beer, probably Molson. I don't remember what it was, but it was for like my 18th birthday, just as a joke. He was like, this is all you can drink for another year or whatever. And again, I grew up in a family where, it's like, you want a beer, you can have a beer within reason, like, when I was, underage. But I didn't really like the taste of beer then, but I really did not like the taste of that non-alcoholic beer. We tried it. We both ended up dumping all of it. It's like, this is awful.
Gross. Yeah, I think the first time I ever had a non-alcoholic beer is probably that Molson Excel. I bought a case at Superstore or something, or Sobeys or something, just because I wanted to try it in like the early days of my beer channel. And that stuff was like fucking cardboard.
I would say that the stuff that I bought was probably Molson Excel. I would say more likely than not, because that's kind of been one of those staple that's been in the supermarkets forever.
That and I also remember buying there's two different types of O'Douls. There's like, I can't remember, there was a green one and a red one, and I remember the red one was like a red ale, and the green one I forget, maybe a lager. But those were nasty too. I ended up dumping most of those. Like they just sat around in the house. I was trying to get rid of them, and eventually, when Neely died, and I left the apartment, I just dumped them all.
Yeah,
Well, that got dark.
probably for the best. Yeah, it's probably good you left your shady past behind, Nick. You don't want to take those beers with you.
Exactly. All right. So I guess it comes down to the moment. Since Lee's not here to vote, when it comes to picking a winner tonight, I'm assuming you've already had this.
I have, and
So
I would, even if I hadn't, I would. I remember liking yours, but I'd have to look at my Untapped if I even put it on there. I probably did. I remember liking it. I would pick Lee's though over yours. The main reason being is that hazy IPAs, non-alcoholic, seems to be the trend now, and there just seems every company has their own hazy IPA or even a non-hazy IPA. I don't think I've ever tried a non-alcoholic Pilsner. If I did, then it escapes my memory. But that just seems interesting to try, just because it's not a style I see all that often, and I'd be interested to see, is it actually any good? And Lee seems to say it's pretty good. So
Libra makes a non-alcoholic Pilsner that's not that bad, but last time I bought a 4-pack of those, I think most of them went to waste.
Yeah, so it's possible I've tried that.
Yeah, but anyway, I was just saying it that way because I was just figuring like maybe we should just anoint Lidl the winner right now.
Probably. Well, I doubt either of
gross.
these. Yeah, I doubt either of these or that. I mean, this one's better, but I doubt either of these sound that amazing.
I admit I'm curious about Sam Adams because I like Sam Adams regular stuff, but that sounds like sweetness, grossness. In a year and a half, I'm actually kind of impressed you're brave enough to try that Bach ale. It's well over a year old. I think it was the better one. I want to try that. That's a weird thing.
Yeah, it's not going to hurt you. It's fine.
So in absentia,
Lee is the winner.
Our favorite shit. Where is he? Our favorite Lee. Here is the winner. The wiener. See if I got a better.
I should save a few of these for you, Nick. I just ripped another pair of underwear, so I've got padding, so I can send a few of these your way.
Only if you can ship them with some stolen underwear or stolen underwear, stolen toilet paper. Because I'm almost.
I don't have any. I literally sent all my stolen toilet paper to you, so I only have legally purchased Costco toilet paper.
I've only got the one roll left.
There you go. It's actually pretty good toilet paper.
Yeah, actually, you know what, Brandon? Is this the stuff we use at work? No, it's Uline that I think we have at work, but I don't think
they have Uline, but they have 3 different levels of Uline. This is like the high end stuff. It's the most expensive because it's basically supposed to be like Cottonelle, but the Uline brand, and it's pretty good. I actually, when I used to go to the office, I actually bought a bunch of different kind of toilet paper, and I'd go around and have people blind touch it. I'd be like, okay, which one do you like? And that was
You're like like a perverted version of the Charmin bear. Just go or like what's that squeezy guy that goes around and squeezes.
Oh yeah, but you'd be surprised. The girls freaking loved it. They're like, oh, let me try it. Oh, I like this one, but this one feels better. And it's like, and they're all like rubbing it on their face too. I'm like, well, it's like they're rubbing it on their face, and I'm just like, you want to know how smooth it is on your pussy, don't you? Yeah.
Wow.
See that's what perverted. That's what perverted.
I don't think that would go over well at work.
I think the actual winner was the actual. I think it was Charmin, that like the name brand one, but this was the second favorite. So it actually it's a pretty good quality one. Now, if you go to the low end, Uline, that's not good. That's the one you're gonna poke You're gonna poke your finger through and accidentally poke your butt.
Pretty sure that's what we got at work because it's like 2-ply, but it's like tissue paper.
Yeah, that's what most.
Each ply.
That's what most.
A giant gob of it just to wipe your ass with. And
believe me, if my boss had known that I was buying the expensive stuff, they would not have approved it. But luckily, they didn't look that closely at the expensive.
That close, probably she doesn't give a shit, or at least she does. Her or pooper is nice. And
what your boss doesn't know doesn't hurt them.
All right, so let's. Brandon's like, yeah, it's bad. Most companies have the cheapest grade. Yeah, I'm just thinking
Of course they
toilet
do.
paper at work is like, oh fuck. But I mean, lots of places use that same literal shit. All right, so talk about what next week's beer is. Of course, we are going back to normal, and we are going back to regular beers. So,
Thank God.
what are we going to do next week? We are going to do, the theme is going to be called Brewed and Bottled, which means that it has to be in a bottle.
Oh fuck!
Got to be in a bottle. Has to be in a glass bottle, not a can.
God, I
I'm
hate
pretty sure
bottles.
that's an easy one.
Yeah, I can get some. I can definitely get something.
Yeah,
but fuck,
I thought it was like that. That must be low hanging fruit. I'm sure that you can get a bottle one, especially if Brandon's going to Halifax. I think we have middle grade as guests, but I was not involved with that ordering. Yeah, no shit. Okay. Yeah, so like I'm sure that especially Brandon going to Halifax, if he can get something special for like one of the breweries, it's probably going to be in a bottle.
So or just like bring Molson Canadian in a glass bottle. There you go.
Yeah, it's going to be any beer goes. It just has to be in a bottle, not a can.
Now, question: can it come in a can, then you transfer it to a bottle and then pour it in a glass?
No, that's cheating, Greg.
Oh,
come on. It's like bringing an alcoholic beer to the non-alcoholic.
like a fact.
It's like drinking a 10% beer and covering up the one. Like you would.
It's a 0% beer. It's a new high quality product.
All right. So
the best part was for like that about, I'd say maybe 8 to 10 seconds. You guys were actually excited that it was an actual thing. And you're like, wait a minute.
I was going along with it.
Wait a minute. Oh, we'll review that.
Non-alcoholic facts. I wonder if that is a thing. Non-alcoholic facts.
I feel the entire point of facts is to get people annihilated drunk, so probably not.
Viking beer. Apparently, it is a thing. Facts Premium 0.0.
Okay, this needs to be something we try it then. We need to do this.
Train. Check this shit out. Oh, that's actually Upside Drinks. You can order off. This is Canadian.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but
yeah,
I can get one can from them.
Yeah, but for like $20 shipping.
I'm kind of curious. Like, what do they have on Upside Drinks for beers? Like Guinness Zero was really good. That's the best one. I think
they carry most of the major brands. Oh, Stay Classy from Bellwoods. That's actually I can't remember if I've tried the non-alcoholic version, but that used to be like a 1.5% beer, and then they just made it full on non-alcoholic.
I remember back when we used to hang out with Ewart, I remember he brought some like 0.5% beer to the
it was probably that, because Bellwoods was one of the few where they did like ultra session IPAs, and actually they were pretty tasty for what they were, but of course overpriced for what they were too.
You got two types of non-alcoholic Jelly King.
Yeah, I don't like the alcoholic Jelly Kings, so
I'm kind of curious. There's Groovy. I can get some of the Groovies here, like Mocha. Groovy Mocha Stout sounds interesting.
Well, now Nick, you got to go dry for another month.
I'm gonna go dry for a month. Fuck that shit. And Corona Sunbrew. That's actually not bad for an alcoholic beer if you drink it ice cold.
Yeah,
because Corona is a low bar anyway.
Yeah, I mean, Corona is also kind of like, hey, drink this quickly and filter it through a lime. It'll be fine.
Exactly. Which is kind of why I like that Muskoka beer, because it's just a basic bitch lager with lots of lime flavor, which the lime was tasty. That's the only reason it's good, though. Drink it cold.
Well, I mean, the lime also covers up all the probably brewing faults in it.
Yeah. 0% Hoegaarden. There's Libra right there. Libra IPA, which is made by Upstreet Brewing and PEI. Oh wow, there's McKellar. Henry and his Science Sour.
That I would try. Oh, it's a sour, unfortunately, but
there's that Libra Pilsner.
Okay, no, that I don't think I've tried that. At least I don't recall that can, so I'd have to try that at some point if I see it.
Lake of Bays near zero.
Oh, Lake of Bays. They don't make that great alcoholic beer.
Yeah. Oh, another McKellar. Yeah, it's kind of interesting because I feel like like compared to Rival, those things are gross.
Yeah, I think so.
Compared to where non-alcoholic beer was years ago, it's a completely different landscape because now it's like some people like it. I don't get it. Like I always get like a weird cardboard taste that kind of puts me off of most non-alcoholic beers. So I don't just sit there drinking these things when I'm doing dry January. I'm just usually just drinking water when I'm hanging out with everybody, unless I have a golden ticket. It's funny how many golden tickets I've had this month. But yeah, it's just like I get there's people that drink this stuff all the time, and I'm like, no, I wouldn't do that.
Well, again,
Guinness Zero, I would. That stuff was tasty.
Again, I mean, if you were in a position where, the doctor basically said, hey, you're going to die if you keep drinking alcohol, you might be like, well, okay, I'll drink this. I mean, I'm probably with you. I don't think I would ever switch to non-alcoholic beer. Like hop water, I would keep drinking that, or I'd, drink
like hop water.
Some other non-alcoholic things. Would I ever want to just full on, like I might every once in a while pick up some non-alcoholic beer just for shits and giggles. But realistically, if I had to quit beer altogether, I would probably find an alternative drink.
Look, they get some Bach Ale.
Oh, there you go. So yeah, it's still available there. Who knows how old it is?
St. Bless has some pale ale. Of course, that's their old logo, so who holds that can?
Well, see, and this is the problem within the last few years. Private liquor sales have become more and more prominent. Not liquor per se, but like beer sales, and it becomes the problem is, and this is exactly what happens in the States, is that with the LCBO, they have contracts with the breweries where if stuff gets too old, it gets taken off the shelf, and the brewery essentially has to buy it back from them. I remember Ken was explaining to me where he sells let's say a truckload of beer to the LCBO. He'll have a best before date on it. If it doesn't sell by that date, whatever doesn't sell, he essentially has to buy back from the LCBO at the price they paid. So the LCBO doesn't lose any money. Ken loses the money from Black Oak.
That sucks.
So places
Black
like
Oak's
that
not even around anymore. There's Budweiser Zero. That's that.
No, it's Silversmith, but apparently Ken still works for them. Last I heard.
Oh, okay.
But so with guys like this, or I'm assuming the beer store as well, probably what happens is they buy the product and they've already paid for the product, and they either sell it or they throw it out. So what are they going to do? They're going to keep it there. That's why in the States, it's not that uncommon. I remember. What's that 17 beer? It's I can't remember if it's Unibrow or something. It was that big bottled beer that used to be. I remember like you could literally walk into liquor stores and find versions that were like 10, 12 years old, which I bought one and it tasted absolutely awful. But it's kind of interesting. It's like you walk in and find these old vintages because they're like, yeah, we're just going to keep it on the shelf till it sells. And
it
was unrefrigerated also for all those years. So
yeah, like I actually had a bottle of a couple of bottles of this old Unibrew 17. I had a 2012 and a 2013, and I ended up drinking both of them during my period of unemployment back in 2022. So they were 10 and 9 years old, respectively. 10. The 13 did not age well, but the 2012 was delicious. So it all depends. Like you gotta think like when you barrel age something, you could be possibly introducing some external force like yeast or oxidation. The only reason they were gross is that they didn't turn; they were oxidized. So the oxidation was just gross. I ended up porking through them because they were Unibrew 17s, but the 2012 was actually still pretty tasty, even when it was 10 years old. But generally, when it comes to aging cork beers, beer's not wine. I mean, it depends what it is. I mean, like I hear that people have been aging those like Fuller's vintage ales for decades, and those like Thomas Hardy or something like that ages for an extremely long time. But like a Belgian style beer with a cork and cage, don't age it more than 5 years.
Yeah, I have a Thomas Hardy from 2017. I'm going to try it I'm going to try it in 2027 because just because Paul says that beer only becomes drinkable at 10 years, so I'm going to try it.
I'm pretty sure Paul said that just to say that. But I actually have I actually have a Thomas Hardy that's from the same. I think you sent it to me.
Might be from the same batch.
I'm gonna save that. And it's probably gross by now. I've got a 2012 bottle of Rochefort 10. it's probably pretty nasty. But hey, I'm gonna wait and drink that a while.
I mean, you know
Anyway.
what? I mean, Rochefort 10 should be okay. Like it'll whether it's good or bad, I don't know, but it'll probably still be drinkable. It's not like if you fucking it's not like if you try a steam whistle from 2008, and I believe this was 2000 and it was probably right before COVID, so probably 2019. So 11-year aged bottle of steam whistle, and not good at all.
Anyway, all right. Well, I think that's actually been a pretty good episode considering it's just
you got
you and me and
yeah, you got 55 minutes of two guys talking about non-alcoholic beer plus
Yeah.
virtually.
Yeah, virtually. Ha ha ha. Yeah, we haven't even gotten the chat taken down.
Well,
I don't know. I guess that we'll go back to drinking more popular shit next week. Although I think Lady Lee's probably still out.
she used to play soccer on Wednesdays, so I have no clue how long that goes for.
I forget when. I think it's just a winter soccer league they play indoors. So,
yeah, and then she'll start her summer soccer league.
Yeah, there might be like a period in the summer where she's anyway. But
Nick
yeah, man,
always,
Mr. Lee,
Nick and
chances are
women of periods.
Yeah, chances are, as long as he's not working, Mr. Lee will probably be back next weekend. Probably you might see Carrie. Who knows? Yeah, Ben is saying this was good. We'll have something next week. All right. Hopefully we'll see you on. We're going to take this thing offline, but thank you to the one comment and the two viewers, the one commenter and two viewers. Chris, thank you, Brandon. I'll talk to you at work tomorrow. I'll get you drunk. And we'll chat with you folks later. Cheers.
Cheers, motherfuckers. And a penis, because why not? Penis.
Of course, you got to stick your penis in the end.